Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian and patch 2.2 has already been discussed along with passenger missions and tourist locations, and today I want to take a look at tourist locations. As you all know, exploration is very much one of my things with Elite Dangerous, and if I'm being perfectly honest, and I think if everyone's being honest about it, the galaxy itself is probably the largest and best asset that Elite Dangerous and Frontier actually have within the game. Now in the background you can see some of my footage from my older series, The Best Damn Places in the Galaxy, and these were basically locations that I intended as tourist visits you could go to check out, because they're some of the most spectacular locations I've actually ever come across within the game. I'll link the whole series below the playlist so you can actually go back and check that out again, but for now, as I'm talking, you can have a look at some of those locations. I understand from discussing with many people that they're not entirely sure what excites others about the idea of passenger missions, and I've been thinking about that a bit, and really it's the prospect of the unknown, really, getting out there into the galaxy, into both habited space as well as uninhabited space, and checking out some of these locations along with the prospect of making some gameplay surrounding that. Now at the moment, both exploration and travelling doesn't really have any specific gameplay attached to it. Now largely, of course, this is going to depend on what Frontier have planned. If it's just a case of travelling from point A to point B and then back again, then sure, I can't see passenger missions as being too much different to simple delivery missions. But basically, there is so much potential there. Now all of this is pure speculation, it's just simply the sort of things I'd like to see, but it's reflected in the sort of visuals that you can see here in the background, and many people have also added a lot of images into Frontier's tourism thread, which is on their forums, and I actually found that there's a whole ton of really nice images in that thread, and I've actually included a few of them at the end of this video if you want to hang around and have a look at that. So whilst nothing has really been announced about passenger missions, there are a few things that we do actually know. We do know that for passengers you will need passenger cabins, and we also know that for some of the best missions you're going to need the cruise ships. That's the Dolphin, the Orca, which is already in the game, as well as one of the largest player ships within the game, the Beluga liner. Now the Beluga is actually so large that David Braben has commented that it can't automatically naturally fit through the docking hatch on the stations. So what could we do with these passenger missions? Well, I'm assuming there'll be different tiers of passengers, right from slaves right up to the high quality diplomats, as well as perhaps royalty if you get really lucky. Now according to Elite lore, the poorest passengers and even slaves simply go into a cargo hold to be transported. They go into cryostasis and are put into a cargo hold basically, and then transported on a basic ship from point to point. Now the thing here is that there's no real security involved for the passengers, and quite often a nefarious pilot will take these passengers and take them to some unknown system and sell them off as slaves. Will Frontier include this into the mission system? I really do hope so, as it's both a good gameplay design and very fitting in terms of gameplay lore. But what could the other passengers want? Well, we do know that the mission system has been changed a little bit recently to allow branching missions. That's missions that can change a little bit whilst en route. For example, taking a carrier mission, you can get a critical mission update message that asks you to change the destination of the station, and whilst that doesn't seem to be working properly at the moment, it does seem to open potential for passenger missions where the mission may change en route. Now, of course, there's the whole thing about depth of gameplay, and well, has Elite really got that sort of depth? There are a number of things in the game that still haven't been locked in, that haven't attached into the gameplay. For example, when you drop into the unidentified signal sources, there's the infamous wedding barges, as well as convoys and things like that. Now they don't plug into missions at the moment, and I don't know if they ever will. They certainly seem to be placeholder for now. We don't have anything like escort missions, we can't get engaged with convoys, and we can't do anything with those wedding barges. Could passenger missions change all that? We, of course, have no idea, but there's always the potential. Why is the wedding barge just going to be there forever unused, delivering the bride or delivering the groom, or perhaps even helping them escape the wedding? That could make for an interesting mission, couldn't it? There's all manner of possibilities and potentialities that could be included when we think about passenger missions, right up to and including being escorted by your wing members. Maybe you've got a dolphin or a beluga liner or one of the other passenger liners and you're carrying a whole bunch of dignitaries to a special event or maybe an embassy, and you have to be escorted by your wing members to keep you safely there. After all, don't forget, the title of this update is The Guardian, so what else could that possibly mean? Quite naturally though, this plugs directly into all the calls for more depth to the game that people have asked for quite a long time now. Things such as escort missions, things such as getting involved with convoys, blockades, things such as true smuggling runs, and of course a true crime and punishment system. If gameplay mechanics such as that were to be put in place, then the passenger missions, as well as the upcoming multi-crew, have the potential to add a whole lot to Elite Dangerous. But if gameplay mechanics like that are not going to be included, then it's only right that people are sitting there questioning just what passenger missions and multi-crew are going to offer if all they do is plug into the currently existing gameplay. So I can certainly understand both sides of that argument. If the gameplay isn't going to get any additional depth, then passenger missions could well be questionable at best. But if they're going to come along with some additional depth, some additional gameplay mechanics, then it could well be one of the points that turn Elite Dangerous around. On another note, there's a whole lot of conversation at the moment about exploration gameplay mechanics that has been borne out the Dangerous games and the entire thing with SEP. But that isn't really a new conversation. It's been an ongoing conversation since way before Elite Dangerous was actually officially released. The game has been a big target for exploration type of players, and perhaps their needs haven't been met. But I think Frontier are very much aware that there is a demand for that, certainly after the Distant Worlds expedition and everything that has come since then. And perhaps for me then, the idea of passenger missions represents a huge potential for a step in a new direction towards adding additional content for exploration-based players. I've got absolutely no idea what Frontier may have planned for gameplay mechanics for content like that, but with them asking for tourist destinations, I'm at the least very cautiously optimistic that they're taking a look in that direction. With that theme in mind then, let's take a look at some of the locations and screenshots that have been submitted for that particular request. Now, where available, I've included the name of the system, the person on the forum who submitted it, along with the commander that discovered the location, and I apologise if I've actually missed any information out, but let's go and take a look at all that now.